It's officially Flipmas, and this year, I'm flipping my way to Christmas. Starting December 1st, I'll be dropping 12 furniture flip makeovers every other day, all the way through Christmas Eve. We're talking curbside finds, Facebook Marketplace rescues, and a whole lot of paint magic. And if we're good enough, hopefully Santa will come leave us some supplies under the tree for us to use throughout the process. Each flip has its own story. Some are total disasters, and some are dream pieces. But every single one is getting saved from the landfill and turning into something worth showing off under the tree. If you love a good before and after, satisfying sanding shots, and that fresh paint reveal, this series is for you. So grab your cocoa, turn up the Christmas playlist, and follow along for the 12 days of Furniture Flipmas, because this holiday season, we're making old furniture merry and bright again. Welcome to Flipmas. Let's get to work. Welcome to Flipmas, day 9. I found this piece in the trash. That's right, $0. And what's even better, I already have a client lined up for it. And she wants a bright and refreshing refresh to this one. So we have a lot of work to do. There's a lot of failing finish on this, so we gotta get to work. Let's go. Nothing beats the price of free, but I have a feeling this might be a painful one because there is a lot of failing flaky finish. I normally wouldn't pay money for this type of style. I find it difficult to sell because they're small and don't have legs. Pretty much anything that doesn't have legs or some sort of bottom trim is an automatic pass from me. But again, it was free, so it piqued my curiosity. I was surprised when someone reached out wanting to refinish it. Her vision is to bring a light and cheery refresh to this old dresser. She loves wood tones, but with the amount of damage on this one, we decided only the top could be saved. We also really want to try to save these pulls since they are original. The only way to get past this type of damage is to rip it off. We gotta peel off any and all of the old veneer that's flaky, and unfortunately for me, there is a ton of it. And also unfortunately for me, we need to fill this all back in with Bondo. So glad I buy the stuff by the quart because we are draining the bank today with how much surface area needs filled in. Bondo is a 2-part product that dries rock hard. It's the only product I trust to give lasting durability. So let's fill all this in, sand it back, and see what we get. But we don't waste time around here, so while that Bondo dries, let's hopefully cheer up our spirits by revealing the gorgeous blonde wood veneer on top. I'm really counting on this top part being in good shape and something that we can stain. Alright, we should be good now to sand it down. It does take a bit of elbow grease to get it all sanded smooth, but it's worth it. We want a nice flat surface so this damage can fade away and be a distant memory once we put paint over it. These drawers are in decent shape, so I just give them a scuff sand. hard part is over. Look how much damage we had to fill in with this Bondo. This is absolutely crazy. It's the most Bondo I've ever used on any project ever. But look how smooth it all is. So I think our hard work is gonna pay off. Let's tape up the frog tape and give us those crisp lines. I like to add a little angle to the corner cuts to keep them extra crispy. And I get asked a lot about why I do the process I do with sanding, painting, then staining. And the answer is that if the tape fails me and I get paint on the top of the dresser, I can simply just sand it back a few seconds. Boom, done. But if I go through all the trouble of staining and sealing the top in, and then if I find dried paint on it after I spray, that's a huge job to fix. I'd have to strip down all the top coat and the stain that's now soaked into the wood and redo the entire thing. So I always sand, paint, then stain. Old veneer like this is prone to bleed through. I did a few coats of white primer and the tannins just kept coming through. So the next best step, other than running to the store and buying shellac primer, is to use a darker primer. So I mixed in some black to the primer and got a really nice gray color, and it totally worked. All those yellow stains did not come through my gray primer. So if you're having issues with bleed through, trust me, adding more coats of white won't fix your problem. However, our final paint color will be White Mocha by Behr. So that's why I started with my white primer. No sense going dark with primer just to then lighten it back up with paint. But in this case, it's what needed to be done, even if I needed an extra coat of white paint to get full coverage over this gray primer. After what felt like a million coats of primer and paint, we're on to our last coat. I love my Gray Coat True Coat sprayer. This thing gives professional, seamless results every single time. And it's also a lot more expensive than my other sprayers, but you know what? I still think it's totally worth it. So let's load it up, spray her down one last time to really seal the deal on this transformation. Not without dropping the filter in the paint though, RIP. Let's hope this tape held because I am so tired already in this flip and I don't need any more extra work. My client asked for the Tiki Hut paint by Sherwin-Williams to be used for the stain. And I use stain loosely here because we're actually just going to be doing a paint wash. And a paint wash is just a fancy way of saying we're going to water down this paint a ton before brushing it over the wood. But either way, we're going to be adding this neutral brown tone to the wood, and I think it's going to look awesome. To give a good paint wash, mist down your surface first to help your product apply well. And use a damp sponge. No dry sponges in this shop. I've never used this color before, so I was really excited to give it a go, and overall, I really like it. It gives a perfect medium brown. Not too light, gives good warmth, and not dark like walnut, so I'm definitely going to be using this again in the future. To keep our crispy lines, immediately wipe back any of the stain that spilled over onto the paint with a damp rag. It should come off really easily, especially if you used a satin paint. And while that dries, let's touch up these drawer edges. These did not get painted when we sprayed, so it's necessary to go back in afterwards and get them covered. A small paintbrush or a sponge works excellent. And while those drawer edges dry, let's hit the top up with some water-based matte top coat to lock it in. And again, wipe back any top coat that spilled over onto the paint. You thought we were about done, didn't you? And I thought so too, but you know what? We had a little change of heart here, and my client actually wants the top to just be a little bit darker. Her wish is my command, so let's get to work adding some dark walnut stain over top of this. And yes, I know that I can't stain my top coat, but I still can brush it on and let it dry over top of my top coat. And you know the game by now. We work while we wait for stuff to dry. So let's hit this hardware with some brass paint to make it come back to life. And once they're dry, I'll lock it in with top coat to make them extra durable. One of my favorite products right now is the Wise Owl Furniture Salve, which is often called magic in a can, and that's for good reason. It's an all-natural product that is hemp oil and wax-based without any of those nasty fillers or solvents. You can use it over raw wood, renew leather, polish furniture, renew stainless steel appliances, and even clear up your old foggy headlights. Oh, and did I mention the scents are incredible? This lemon scent lifts this out-of-date piece into a fresh and tranquil new start. So thank you, Wise Owl, for sending them. Hate this for me, but we need to tape up the painted sections so that we can apply our top coat to reseal up that dark walnut stain. Let me break down when you can use a brush and when you need to use a sprayer to apply your top coat. You can brush top coat over stained wood. This is because the color is soaked into the wood and you don't need to worry about wiping it away. But, and this is huge, if you apply stain over paint or over top coat, like what we just did with this walnut stain, then you have to spray the top coat over it. Trust me, I've ruined every single piece that I didn't follow this rule on. If I tried to brush top coat over this dried walnut stain, it would reactivate the stain and start smearing it all around. It would literally take up the stain. And that's because the stain is simply sitting on top. It's not soaked in, so it's really easy to accidentally wipe it away. So for me, I need to apply my top coat here with my sprayer. And to spray it, that means I need to tape up the painted area so I don't ruin my nice finish with a matte top coat overspray. This one definitely took a few turns along the way, but I'm so happy with how it turned out. It went from free on the side of the road with literally peeling veneer to one-of-a-kind classic beauty with a wood grain top. My client was thrilled with how it turned out, and so am I. Now on to the part you've been waiting for, the numbers. I turned this free piece into $650 with it only costing me about $40 in materials. So that's a great day in my books. Thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, check out my entire Flipmas series under the playlist tab.